Well, we're here for the fourth day, I think now. Fourth day in Utah, and guess where we're at? You guys see where we're at? We're at Knafs. We're gonna go and check out Ben, see what his shop looks like, do some content with him, and then we're gonna see if he'll film a video with us, because I want to see some of his new stuff.
Locked in, don't wanna let me get out. I'ma put you on a bitch, you gotta sit out. Hit the street and had a block going crazy. Mama sound playing with my life and can't nobody save me up.
Bang! These knives! I'm Jared and I am with Ben. We are in Utah at Knafs.
Thank you, Jared.
Man, thank you for having us.
Good to have you here, man.
He's got an awesome shop here. A bunch of knives. You know what's funny is there's a lot of them I haven't tried. I didn't even realize how many
we've been having fun
you've
over
come
here.
out with the past like few months or whatever. So we want to go through some of them with you guys and check them out. You know, check out this little shop right here. Because man, you guys, it's way different than what I thought it was going to be.
What did you think it was going to be?
I thought it was going to be a lot smaller. I honestly thought, you know, almost like I don't want to be rude or anything, but like a garage kind of thing, you know. And I think this is awesome. You guys are doing great work.
This is one step beyond the garage. Don't give us too much credit.
I'm giving you a lot of credit right now. You guys got 2 bathrooms.
That's true. We do have 2 bathrooms.
And these knives, man, they're really awesome. I want to be honest with a few things, so I might critique you a little bit. And I'm doing that because I'm a knife reviewer and I got you for the audience. So let's do it. So first off, with the original Lander, it wasn't really my style, right? It really wasn't. I said this in a couple of videos, but I like, because I'm a spear point fan. Sure. I'm a huge spear point fan, and I love neutral ergo. So on paper, it speaks to me, right? Then you came out with this big one. I haven't tried it until I got here. I didn't even know this existed. They got the big one, and this thing, I love this. This is perfect size. And I love that you got an aluminum one as well. But this thing is so awesome because it's got that spear point blade, neutral ergos, crossbar lock, nice and strong. I love it. Now, there's one thing I want to criticize though, right? And I want to do this because I've been doing this in videos for years. And a lot of makers and designers have heard it, and some of them haven't. So I might as well, I'm right here, so let's talk about it, right? Okay, so I'm gonna show you an example of where it's good and where it's not good, okay? And it's just the plunge grind, okay? So the plunge grind's right here, right? And we can grab this one. You see how the plunge is hitting the edge. So the end of the plunge grind, so you have 2. So let me just grab this. You have the beginning of the plunge grind, and then the end of the plunge grind. And I'll throw in B-roll for you guys to see what I'm saying. The end of the plunge grind is hitting the edge, right? So that makes it impossible for me to sharpen without hitting the plunge grind. When I hit it, it's gonna make a smile, so it's gonna cut up there, and it takes longer to hit. Sometimes you can't even hit the apex right there. It'll make it difficult, right?
So what you're saying is take that plunge grind further back?
Just like that. Just like your other knife. Where it's literally, see how it's separated? That's the end of the plunge grind right there. So it started and finished right there, and it's separated from the edge. So now when I sharpen, the edge is gonna go there, and then there, and then there, and then there, and it'll never hit that. First time I sharpen, I'm gonna hit the plunge grind.
You're gonna hit the plunge grind.
Yeah, and it's not like it's not a deal breaker or anything. It's just when you go to sharpen, you want your knife to look fresh. You don't want it to look like it's been, used for a year.
Totally. So what you're saying, because if we take, this is a diagonal plunge line. What you're saying is it almost has to be straight up and down.
Well, no, it can be an angle.
Or just bring it down a little bit.
You could literally just put a knot. Like, think about like a half a moon, okay? Or half a moon circle. You could just go, meep, half a moon.
Okay,
and if you think about it, that's what happened here. Half a moon, meep.
Dude, I love that feedback. That's great feedback.
And I made the sound effects for you, so now you get it.
So let me get the sound effect right.
Meep, meep. Yeah.
Half moon.
Think about a drill when I'm saying that, or a Dremel.
Yeah. I love it. This is perfect.
But yeah, no, dude, I really like this one a lot. I think it's so ergonomic, and I love that I can use it in any direction. That's something that's important to me. Because like pinch grips, with this handle, the way how it kind of trails down, like that fits in your hand so perfectly. So, and this is, to be honest, most people use a knife kind of like this. Like a pinch grip, opening a box, whatever, right? Obviously you're going to use it like this too, but I think the pinch grip for EDC knives is majority of use.
Do you know what's funny about that? We are working on a prototype right now. I don't have one to show you, but my designer was like, most people are going to use this in a pinch grip. And I was like, yes, but the handle also has to be ergonomic in a way that it doesn't want to slip out of your hand.
Absolutely.
Because I'm like, yes, you're going to pinch, because it's a little guy. It's an under 2-inch blade.
Okay.
And he's working on it, and he's like, well, everyone's going to use it in a pinch grip. I'm like, yes, But if they ever gotta get it in hand, whittling and push cuts, and they will, I'm like, we gotta change it. So we actually prototyped that whole thing, and then I was like, we gotta redesign it.
Yeah.
Which made me so sad.
I
but
mean, it happens.
get it right, you know?
Get it right. Yeah, exactly. And love it. You know, you should love it.
Yep.
Now you have a premium one. This is also the first time you try
Bougie Banter.
Call it the Bougie Banter. That's the actual name, right?
Yeah.
The Bougie Banter. I love it.
Which is so stupid, but like,
I know you're not a Bougie fan. I'm a big Bougie fan. I love titanium.
I have probably said on video, I am a cheap sucker, probably like 1,000 times. And here I'm coming out with a knife that's like $275 retail. And I'm like, holy smokes. Like,
yeah, I love titanium.
By the way, we're in our storefront, so people are going to walk in.
We're going to have some people walk in. That's all right.
Come on in.
How you doing, bud? Come on in. No, you're good. You're good. Come on in. Don't even think about us. We're not here. We're not here. But I love titanium. I love what you did with the backspacer right there.
Yep.
Did you draw that on paper? Like at first, did you plan to have that like that with
so actually
the arrows?
Well, yeah. So the chevrons. So the styling on this chevrons.
Chevrons.
Yeah. So the styling on this is Art Deco. It's from the 1920s.
Oh,
so Art Deco is kind of like this, like the Roaring '20s, Great Gatsby sort of styling.
Yeah.
So I grew up in this area of Utah called Ogden, and a lot of the buildings were built in the 20s, so they have this Art Deco styling.
Yeah.
So when we did the knife, we had put this pattern on the front.
Like Victorian homes kind of, right?
A little bit, yeah, exactly. And I was looking at the 3D model, I'm like, that backspacer, like, it was just a backspacer. And I was like, no, we gotta bougie it up.
Yeah.
So what I did, this is like the 5-year anniversary of the Banter.
Yeah, okay.
So we put, I think it's 31.
Has it been 5 years already?
5 years. It came out in 2020, Jared.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man,
And
time's a flying.
So what we did is we put a chevron for every baby Banter, big Banter, Banter, and Banter fixed blade.
Oh, is that what it
Off
is?
the back, yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. I'm going to show you a close of this. My goodness, that's a lot. When you see the number, I love the way you did the clip with the spots too. Man, this is beautiful. I like this a lot.
Again, that Art Deco styling. We said, how do you kind of celebrate 5 years, but also we thinned it up quite a bit. In fact, since we're in the store, I'm just going to pull something off this shelf here. When you look at the original Banter, it's actually kind of thick in the handle. The blade is it's a leaf-shaped spear point. On the Bougie, we took that whole thing,
slimmed it down.
We slimmed it down. So they're there side by side, but then if you get them on top of each other, it's just a little bit, but it makes a difference in pocket. And like little things like that. I don't know, after you've carried the Banter for a few months, you're like, I like it, but...
It's very comfortable for a short knife, because usually you don't expect like a 3-inch blade or a 2.5-inch blade.
Yes.
Typically isn't very comfortable in the hand. Correct. This goes for super comfort with a short blade. So like, I feel like I could generate just as much power as I could with a big knife.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
But for me, it's always like, I like it, but... And then you start playing with it, and you're like, I like it, but, and then that turns into your next knife model. And if you look at that sequentially, for me, it was sort of like, we did the Banter, and I'm like, oh, but what if we
this one, I'm sorry, I said 20 CV. I said, this is S45.
It's S45.
S45,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, you're totally good.
Yeah.
But for me, it's always iterative. We kind of started blocky here, and then the Lander series started to get more curved.
Okay.
And it's like, everything is this iteration on a theme.
Nice. Well, this one is another one I didn't try because I have multiple of the Banter.
Yeah.
Now they have the aluminum.
The Banter too.
I love this. I love the feeling of it because I already liked the regular one, and I love how, like you just said, how comfortable it is in a compact knife. Like I really feel like I could just bear down on this all day.
Yeah.
You know. So now this one, because by the way, this is G10 and it's flat.
Yep.
This is contoured.
Contoured
aluminum.
So
it's even better.
Yeah.
You know, in the hand. And I like aluminum. Some people don't like. Kara has this thing with the powdery, not this stuff. This stuff she would love. But you know, like the stuff on like the Kershaw Leak, where it's like a powdery feel.
Almost like ProTech kind of has a finish that's a little bit like...
Also Chris Reeves knives.
Yeah.
Like their titanium, that aluminum oxide blast, like where it's like...
Almost chalky?
Yes.
A little bit. And
she
it's great
goes
for grip.
crazy.
Yeah.
But me, I don't mind that.
Yeah.
But this type of aluminum, I think is perfect. And I love this blue, man. The Ben blue.
You have to.
This looks beautiful. I used to have a Chevy, a 1969 El Camino.
Cool.
This exact blue.
You had an El Camino?
Yeah.
Dude, you were so cool.
You
were so cool.
I was trying at least. And then here is a matching baby Banter. We do have the baby Banter, but I haven't had the aluminum one. So this is really cool.
And we crossbar locked it too. So
and crossbar lock.
Same thing. Baby Banter 2, and we did it in 3 colors. We did the blue, we did the purple, and then we did micarta.
This is one of the only knives with this much cutting length that gives you a full grip.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's funny because, like, I don't think I ever wanted a crossbar lock on such a tiny knife.
It works.
But now that I have it, I'm like,
yeah,
love it.
Yeah, it works. I'm very happy with it.
It's really fun. Highly enjoyable.
I like a crossbar lock. We're actually, not to give anything away too early, we're setting up something with a crossbar lock that has an actual detent. Tell me about this one.
Okay, this is the MKM
Coming soon.
Yipper. No, it's actually, so the green one is coming soon, the blue and the black is already out. Basically, we are just expanding the Yipper line with a couple different colors. So you got green coming out, you got an orange. The thing about the Yipper, again, iterations, right? You look at like a Lander 2, and just your blade handle profile, it's just taking up a lot of space, and that's fine. I like that, personally, on a Lander 2. But if you're looking for something a little bit more slicey, dicey, thin in pocket, the Yipper is really fun. In fact, this one comes, the idea for the Yipper came from the Benchmade 940.
Oh, okay.
The only knife I've ever sold in the McDonald's parking lot, Benchmade 940.
You sold on McDonald's parking lot?
So I bought it. I was working at Blade HQ, and I bought it, and I was like, this is great. And then I started carrying it, and you know how the 940 has that really thick stock on the back?
Yes.
I went to go cut an apple, and it just like wedged it out.
It's,
and I'm like,
it's like a multi-tool for like construction workers kind of type of blade.
And I started carrying it, and I'm like, this is not for me.
Yeah.
And so I literally like threw it up on the local like classifieds, sold it in the McDonald's parking lot across from Blade HQ. But I said, what if you took a 940? Like, what are the things I like about a 940?
Yes.
I love that it's slim. I love that it's
narrow.
Like, yep, the blade shape is nice. It's pretty good for like a little bit more penetration and pokey. But what if you made it kind of an everyday carry knife that is not designed for your construction worker who almost needs a pry bar but also needs a knife?
Yeah,
this is more of an EDC knife all day.
Yeah, and one thing I like about this, just right off the bat, these two things. The thumb studs feel so natural, like it's hard to misfire this.
Yep.
Like I literally, like I don't even have to look at you. It's like I misfired one time.
Yeah.
But the reverse flick, same thing. It's like they're slightly proud, but there's so much grip. And I always talk about this with thumb studs. I can't stand thumb studs. I slip off of. So the thumb studs have a lot of grip, but then the crossbar lock, same thing. It sits proud, so it's like it grips you. You're not even gripping it. I love that.
It's a hard game, Jared. Like if you look at the
Banter action is really good on this.
I would actually say this one's maybe a little proud for my personal taste.
Okay.
I think
both of them or just that one?
I'm trying to remember. I think it's just that one. But crossbar height matters.
I like that.
But it just depends. And what I've realized, so this one's a little more proud, I think by like 0.5 millimeter compared to the Lander 2.
We might be talking about such a small amount that it's probably going to still, I'll still love it.
Like,
I just don't like to fight for them.
Yeah, totally.
You know, I want it to be able to where it's very intuitive and it's very easy. And also, I like them to have, like you have the rings around the edge. I like that grip because I'm thinking, by the way, wet hands. Sweaty hands, you know, bloody hands, maybe your game, you know, or fishing, you know, you never know what you're doing with your knife. It's a knife, right? So all those little things, you don't want to be, as I've had so many knives where I'm like fighting, it's like I almost have to two-hand it. It's like, this is supposed to be a one-hand knife. You know, but yeah, I love how narrow it is. I love the blade shape. Very utilitarian. And I love this sound, that snap. That snap. I'm addicted to the snap of a knife.
Do you know what's sad about that? Because the Banter has such a sound. Let me get right next to the microphone here.
Yep.
It has this almost like racking sound to it. Yeah. And I love that. The thing about when you go to a crossbar lock, it changes the sound completely. It softens it. It dampens it.
Yep.
And it kind of makes me sad, but at the same time, you're like, well,
there's a way to make it. There's a way to make pop. This one has a nice little.
Yeah, that's true.
This one has a nice snap.
That's true.
I think there's ways to do it. That's something we're gonna bring. Fixed blades. You've been doing fixed blades.
Oh man, I've been having fun. So I had never really designed a fixed blade till about 1.5 years ago.
Okay.
And I'd spent a lot of time using Essies. So the Azula, the SE4, enjoyed them.
Yeah.
Essies are chunky. They're
very chunky.
Chunky knives.
They're thick too.
Yeah.
Because they got that warranty.
Yeah.
They want to make sure you can shoot it.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, exactly. And I'm like, that's nice, but like, what if we took the principles of Essie and started boiling them down into a blade shape that was more ergonomic in hand?
Yep.
So for a lot of years, Essie would only do flat. If you wanted an Essie, all you could get was flat scales.
Yep.
And so I've got this SE4 and this Zula that only had flat scales.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I don't want that. I want ergonomics.
Yeah.
Because I love to whittle. So this was the first fixed blade I designed, the Lulu. And this was kind of inspired by like backpacking up in Montana. This one is made in Michigan by White River.
It's USA made.
Yep.
By White River.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
So you've got micarta with a G10 underlay on it.
Oh, I love it.
We put just regular flathead screws on there, and then it's made out of MagnaCut, and we actually went with a raw MagnaCut on this. So this is what it looks like rolled.
Right, and then obviously the grind or the bevel.
Yep, and we put
nice.
a Scandi on it with a secondary bevel as well.
That's really good for outdoors. So
yeah,
great
so
for woodwork.
for me, I love to go backpacking. I love to sit there and whittle.
Yeah, that's nice.
This for me was the knife that I was like, this is the thing that I will take with me camping now. And so it's been a great camping knife.
Very similar, like I was saying, some of the other ones, the ergos, you feel like you could use it all day.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. And you went simple with the screws, so you could take them off and clean it or do whatever you need to do, which is really cool. Nice size. The sheath, where's that made?
Sheath is made down in St. George, Utah. So, in fact, we do 2 sheaths on it. One is the Kydex that it comes with.
Okay.
So that's made by White River, and then the sheath is made locally here in Utah by a little family in their garage.
Nice.
And
nice.
I love it. It's a very expensive sheath.
I like the sheath. I love the leather and good stitching like this.
And it's like...
Oh, that almost clicks in.
Leather is a thing. So
That's
this is
nice.
This
Do they all come like this? Like with like, or is this got to be molded?
They're wet pressed. Each one is
are,
wet
but
pressed.
I'm saying before you get it, you do it. You already did this.
No, this is how they come.
Nice.
Yeah.
This it's like it literally clicks in.
It's got a little snap.
I don't know if I've ever had a leather.
Dude, these
like
guys
that.
are the best. This is like Wickett and Craig top grain leather. So it's like bridal leather, I think they call it.
Bridal.
Yeah, it's like the best leather you can buy.
Nice.
And then we stitched it with this ultra high-end, like thick stitching.
Yeah, I love that. That's what I love about leather.
I wanted it to be like
stitching.
Like if you rode a horse around, if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, that's
like,
the one.
This is it, you know?
You got
Even
it.
if you're not, like if you're backpacking, it's got a nice snap, so you can throw it like, like if I'm backpacking, I tend to move my knife around just to keep it away from hips or keep it away from wherever. So the snap on there is fun too.
I love leather, so like even like my boots, I pay attention to the stitching, how many stitches, how thick they are, what grade they are. I pay attention to all that.
That's cool.
And then what's your next fixed blade? What do you
So
got?
we played with it while we're talking about Lulus. We went with a bigger one.
A giant Lulu.
Giant
the
Lulu.
Lula.
The large Lulu. So this one's made by LT Wright. So this one,
you know what's funny? I was gonna say I didn't want to. I was gonna say this reminds me a little bit of LT Wright. This one right here.
Yeah.
So it's funny that you even brought him up.
Yeah. So what we were looking at is like, okay, who makes stuff? Like we're not inherently knife makers here. We're designers.
Right.
We're ideas people, right? And so we have to find people to make things for us. And I was like, LT, could you make this?
Yeah.
And he was like, heck yeah, we
Yeah.
can. And so it's got the same styling.
He's great.
You've got G10, micarta. This one is pinned. And I almost think of this as like, this is LT Wright. And this is like 5 guys in a shop in Ohio.
Yeah.
I mean, these are guys who like, they are making almost custom knives.
Basically handmade knives.
Handmade knives.
Yes, for sure.
I mean,
For
obviously
sure.
they're like water jetting and all.
Yeah, but still,
like,
they're putting a lot. They're touching everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like even just 2 days ago,
You can see it too, which is what's something I love. You can see
because
his signatures.
it has those. I don't want to call them imperfections. They are imperfections, but they're fingerprints.
The characters.
Yep.
They have some characteristics that's just unique to each one, but not to where it looks ugly, but to where it, to me personally, I think it brings out the beauty.
Yes.
You know.
So the reason for this one, I took the little guy to the Amazon. It's a 2.9-inch blade. It doesn't baton. It's a terrible baton.
It's small.
Knife. It's too small. Yeah. And so I was like, all right,
That one's gonna baton.
let's baton. Let's get serious. And so
What steel is on this one?
this one is A2.
A2,
Which is kind of like this-
A2 tool steel.
Yeah, LT uses a ton of A2.
Yep.
And he's like, you can have ABL or you can have A2. I was like, all right, A2.
Yep.
And I like to.
He does a good job with it.
He does. I like to work in the steel that the maker likes to work in. Because if they know that steel, if they are good at it, the knife is going to be better.
Sharpest fixed blade I ever felt in my life was from him.
Cool.
I mean, just absolutely brutally sharp.
Cool.
It didn't even make sense when I touched it. I was like, oh my, it was literally, and it was a Scandi grind.
Yeah.
It was hair whittling, and it was
Nice.
a big knife.
Nice.
Like, I'd never seen that before. It was just so ridiculous.
They do it. They do a great job.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is kind of like if this were a Taylor Swift concert, this would be my fixed blade era.
Okay.
I know there are Swifties out there. Maybe.
You guys ain't hiding from us.
My daughter loves Taylor Swift. And you know what? Taylor Swift's early stuff, I'm like, it holds a place in my heart.
Yeah.
The newer stuff, I'm like, I can take or leave it. But we talk knives instead.
So that's like the Lander fixed blade, right?
Yeah.
But you also have the Banter fixed blade.
The Baby Banter fixed blade, yeah.
And I hit this is the first time I've handled this one too. I love this. I think this is awesome because for like, did you originally, just for curiosity, was this originally going to be a neck knife or is it for a belt?
It comes with a ball chain as well.
Oh, it does. That's what I was asking. Because it's perfect.
The problem I have as a designer is I've handled everything. I worked at Blade HQ. I've handled all the knives. So, and I worked at CRKT too. And I have all this sales data in my head, and I'm like, the CRKT Minimalist is a great knife.
Yes.
Alan Folt's design, it's fantastic. But it forces your fingers, your 3 fingers, into a certain grip. And so I was like, well, the concept is great. It's a great neck knife, but what if you changed it to be a little more neutral in the handle, have a finger choil on there, and kind of play with it in a way that is very different from that force your fingers into a grip. So that's where the idea originated, and obviously totally different knife. But I love looking back on what was my thought process to arrive at this. But if you look at it next to a Baby Banter, you can see we shorten the handle just a little bit. Not by much.
That's something you can do on fixed blades.
Yes, exactly, because you don't have to have that.
It doesn't have to fit.
Yep, it doesn't have to fit. And so I said, if I were carrying this as a neck knife, do I need that extra handle or could we throw a lanyard on there? Right. And so we threw a lanyard on there. So if you want to choke back that way, you can have an extra 2 fingers there. Or you can pull it off completely and run it dry.
One thing I really like is because of the choil, I like that I can put my middle finger there and get my pointer up there. Like I said, for pinch grips, you know.
Yep. So that one came out, and then we just did the Lander fixed blade as well. Again, thinking in themes. Yep.
Is it a little bit bigger? Is it like in between the 2 sizes? I didn't put them together, or is it the same size as this? Basically the same.
I think it's
it's about the same.
If I remember right.
So same size as the original, but that's a fixed blade version. So much different in probably the. I mean, you could probably use it for the same stuff, but I imagine people that are carrying this fixed blade, you know, I personally would look at it for like hunting, skinning, a little bit of outdoor stuff, maybe just basic EDC.
Yeah,
you know?
And it's surprising because
just to have a knife on you, you know?
EDC fixed blades have been such a trend.
Yes, lately,
And it's like, you know what? We have a good model in the Lander series. How do we fixed blade it, right? And so people have been really excited about that. We launched that on Kickstarter. And this is going to go live probably in the next week. So
nice.
This will be out in the public, out in the wild. Man. So
you guys
crazy,
are doing
man.
Really good. So what is? I know you just said that's coming up next. This will be the last thing. What's coming up next? Do you have anything that you can leak? Can you give us any? Spoilers.
We'll do some spoilers. We have probably about 6 Kickstarters planned this year if we can pull it off.
Wow.
So you talked about, you and I in a different video, we're talking about how you're working on 6 knife designs. We're working on 6 new knife designs. Each of them will come out on Kickstarter. So we've got a new button lock flipper. We've never done that before. We've got a slip joint that we're working on that will also come in a button lock variant. And then I think maybe my favorite thing that we're working on is a USA made fixed blade as well.
Nice.
That's made down the road on a machine that we purchased. So
also in-house.
It is an in-house design.
That's amazing.
Made in-house.
Good
Obviously, the laser engraving, the laser cutting, the heat treating, there will be outside processes, but we are actually finishing it on our machine in a combination of our shop and my friend's garage. So I'm really excited about that. The thing is,
man, that's amazing.
It's a spoiler because literally I have no idea if it will work. We're learning as we go. It's
going to work. You're going to make it work.
I've got like Squid Industries and TJ Swartz. And
there's only one door. Remember? One door.
I know.
If you make it through that door, you'll make it.
Seriously, man. But it's exciting to me because I've done a lot of things in the knife industry. I've never made a knife. I've never manufactured one myself.
And that is a big jump. That's a big step. I know I've even considered that and thought about that. Like, because people have asked me about, are you going to make any knives? And I consider I want to. I do have the belt sharpener to do it. Like, I do kind of have the tools to do it. I just don't have the environment.
Sure.
And I can't heat treat yet, but I have people that can. So I technically could if I wanted to. So one of these days I will. But just thinking about that, it's like that is a huge step. That's a major step.
It's a big deal.
People don't realize it. You think it's so simple, but there's a lot to lose.
There is, and it's very expensive.
That's what
to buy a machine.
The time and effort.
At some point you start looking at it and you're like, Maybe we could. Maybe we
Yeah.
should. And
That's awesome.
you keep having that conversation in your head long enough, and before you know it, like the machine's coming off the forklift, and you're like, "Ah, crap! What have we done? We've done it." So
Here's all this stuff.
yeah. So I'm really excited about that. It feels like totally unknown territory. This is all design. That is manufacturing. Somebody else is doing all the manufacturing on the table.
Well,
But
tell
that's
them
us.
where they can find you.
Yeah.
All your social medias, so
Sure.
people can go subscribe to you and check out your store and everything else. And also, like he said, this is a store that you can walk into. So
Northern Utah.
that's who we were
Utah.
talking to. Somebody did walk in here. So he does have a storefront that you can walk into and shake his hand and check out his stuff and actually handle his knives. A lot of companies don't have that.
Yeah, so you can find us at knafs.com. That's knafs.com. That's probably the best place. You can find us on all the socials, Knafs. On YouTube, we have a YouTube channel where we put out a video weekly-ish. We talk about knives and we do weird stuff on there.
Yeah.
It's like a variety show.
There
It's
you go.
strange and fun.
No box.
Yeah, no box, man.
No box.
But yeah, Knafs is a place to find us. And you can find me at Ben_Banters on Instagram.
And your store is based in Utah.
Correct, Clearfield, Utah.
There you go. Thank you, Ben.
Jared, thanks.
I appreciate you.
Thanks
man.
for stopping by, man.
Yeah,
Love having a guest.
Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.
Sweet.